All right, let's spend a couple minutes talking about direct mail. Very, very tried and true process to find deals. This is a letter template that I got from a good friend of mine. I've included this template in the resources on this training module. Be sure to check out all the different options over on the left hand side. But direct mail is an effective way to not only get your name, your contact information out to the owners of storage facilities, but what I think a lot of people don't know or maybe haven't picked up yet is like a lot of times these storage owners, they hold on to these. They have whole drawers full, or maybe they've got the few that they've received this year. An interesting fact I was sharing with a good friend of mine just the other day. Let me grab these real quick. I own 7 storage facilities. My contact information or how you would get a hold of my business, we have a mailbox that we use for the tax records for all of our business. These are the 7 letters that I've received in the last 12 months. And that's it. So there's not as many people doing direct mail as one might think. And it could be a way for you to separate yourself. Here's an example that I think is cool. This is from a good friend of mine, the Sultan of Storage. This is the Sultan template. Anyways, it's a little bit personable. It's a little bit to the point of like, hey, I am looking for storage facility in your area. I'm very interested in yours. This was Hideaway Maxi Storage. There's a couple of different ways to think about doing this, right? One is that you can drive for dollars like we just learned about in the previous video. We can take the address down and we can hand address an envelope and we can print out a bunch of these and we can send them off to those folks. And hopefully the mail gets delivered to the storage facility. None of my storage facilities, because they're unmanned, not one of them has a mailbox. I don't want mail. We don't get mail. So that could be the case for some of these storage facilities that you want to target. So finding the owners of these facilities, looking at the county tax records is really the tried and true way. It takes a little bit more time. So in this example, I was in Fort Collins. I had circled or documented about 10 facilities that were super interesting to me because they didn't have some of the attributes that I would like to bring. They didn't have a website that was very clear that you could rent online. They didn't have when I drove for dollars and I looked at their facility from the Google Maps point of view, there was no website that somebody could just easily go to and rent online. When I made a couple of calls, maybe the calls didn't get picked up. They just went to voicemail. Sometimes that means because they're full. That's actually a good thing. High occupancy is not a bad thing. In fact, it's one of the better things we can look at. And then the other reason is just getting the letter in front of the actual folks from the tax record point of view. And oftentimes that's their home, right? So I don't know if 312 Camino Real was Larry and Rose Beckman's home address, but it might have been. If you can find it. And usually that's in there. There's a couple of apps that you can use. The one that I like to use a lot is called Landglide. So in Landglide, I can type in the actual address of the facility itself, and it will show me the tax records. And then from there, we can write our letter. So there's a lot of different creative ways from a direct mail perspective. The play on direct mail, however, is consistency over time. This isn't something that I do today once and I send 10 letters and I wait for calls to come in. This is probably something where you send 10 every day for like the next year. And then you go back to that list and you send those same 365 days times 10, another letter the same 10 every day. And then in year 3, you're doing the same thing. And over time, that will 100% create, the opportunities coming your way because the folks will have seen you consistently and persistently, most importantly, over time. One of the deals that I bought did come from a letter that I sent out. It was actually the 3rd letter that I had sent out to this particular seller in Iowa, targeted account. It was a footprint that I was interested in a market and a town that had the square foot per capita was in favor. The supply demand was in favor, and I wanted to find a deal there. And sure enough, the 3rd letter that I sent out was the one that hit. And that was probably 9 months after the first one. So find your target accounts, Maybe they're all targets. Maybe you want to go after a very specific buy box, and you are able to go out and do that. Track, find the actual owners via an app like Landglide, $10 a month. Works on your mobile phone or it works on a desktop. Pretty sweet. And you can probably then get the actual addresses. Now, if you see an LLC as the actual address, you may then have to go do some work at the state's Secretary of State website, where you can then find out who the registered agent is or the person that is in charge of getting documentation, because there always has to be some name on there. That's typically the typically the owner as well. All right. Direct mail works. Make it happen. Consistency and persistency over time is how to win the game. All right. Hope this was helpful to you. Take a look. If you got any questions, throw them in the chat thread out front, and I'll be happy to jump in and help out as I can. All right. Thanks.